The deception that changed everything in the dimly lit corridors of the DiMera mansion. Tony DiMera stood frozen outside Gabi Hernandez's bedroom door, his hand trembling as he clutched a folder containing evidence that would shatter everything she believed about her life. The documents inside revealed a truth so devastating that even he, a man who had orchestrated countless schemes, felt his conscience weighing heavily on his shoulders. Tonight he would either save Gabi from the biggest betrayal of her life or become the architect of her destruction. If you're loving this dramatic twist already, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with fellow Days of Our Lives fans, and drop a comment below telling me what you think Tony should do, and make sure to subscribe to Trillionaire in Love for all the latest spoilers and storylines that keep us on the edge of our seats. The story began 3 weeks earlier, when Gabi had finally found what she thought was true happiness. After years of heartbreak, manipulation, and betrayal, she had rekindled her relationship with Stefan DiMera, believing that this time their love could conquer all obstacles. The mansion felt different, with her laughter echoing through its halls again, and even the staff noticed how the old Gothic estate seemed brighter with her presence. But Tony had been watching, observing something that others missed. Late night phone calls that Stefan would take in hushed tones, mysterious meetings that weren't on any DiMera Enterprises calendar, and most troubling of all, the way Stefan's eyes would dart away whenever Gabi spoke about their future together. Tony's instincts, sharpened by decades of family intrigue, told him that something was terribly wrong. The investigation began innocently enough. Tony told himself he was protecting Gabi, that she deserved to know if Stefan was keeping secrets. He hired a private investigator, accessed phone records, and slowly began piecing together a puzzle that made his blood run cold. Stefan wasn't just keeping secrets, he was living an entirely different life when I wasn't around. The first revelation came through credit card statements showing payments to a luxury apartment across town, a place I knew nothing about. Security footage revealed Stefan entering and leaving this apartment with a woman, not just any woman, but someone who bore a striking resemblance to Gabi herself. The same dark hair, similar build, even the same confident walk that had first captivated Stefan years ago. Tony's investigation deepened, and what he discovered made him question everything he thought he knew about his nephew. The woman was Maria Santos, a struggling actress Stefan had met at a gallery opening 6 months ago. But this wasn't a simple affair, it was something far more disturbing. Stefan had been molding Maria, paying for her wardrobe, her hair styling, even coaching her mannerisms to make her more like Gabi. The private investigator's report painted a picture of psychological manipulation that chilled Tony to the bone. Stefan would spend evenings with Maria, calling her by Gabi's name, recreating dates and conversations he'd had with the real Gabi. He was essentially living out a fantasy version of his relationship, one where he had complete control over every aspect of his partner's life. As Tony delved deeper, he realized that Stefan's plan was even more sinister. Phone records showed conversations with a contact in Europe who specialized in identity theft and documentation forgery. Stefan wasn't just playing house with a Gabi look, alike he was planning to replace the real Gabi entirely. The scheme was elaborate and terrifying. Stefan intended to frame Gabi for embezzling money from DiMera Enterprises, evidence he had been carefully planting over months. Once she was arrested and discredited, he planned to have her committed to a psychiatric facility overseas, claiming the stress had caused a mental breakdown. Meanwhile, Maria would gradually take over Gabi's life, her identity, and eventually her place in Salem society. Tony spent sleepless nights grappling with this information. Part of him wondered if he should simply let events unfold after all. The DiMera family had never been strangers to betrayal and manipulation. But something about Gabi's genuine happiness, the way she had fought so hard to build a life for herself and her daughter Ariana, made him realize that some lines shouldn't be crossed. The moral struggle intensified when Tony discovered that Stefan had already begun the next phase of his plan. Forged documents were being prepared, the psychiatric facility had been contacted, and worst of all, Stefan had started subtly isolating Gabi from her friends and family members. He was convincing her that people were jealous of their happiness, that she couldn't trust anyone except him. Tony recognized the classic patterns of psychological abuse, the isolation, the gaslighting, the gradual erosion of the victim's support system. He had seen it before in his own family's dark history, and he knew that once Stefan's plan was fully in motion, there would be no saving Gabi. But revealing the truth came with its own dangers. Tony knew that exposing Stefan would tear apart the DiMera family once again. It would destroy the fragile peace that had existed between the different branches of the family tree. More personally, it would force Tony to confront his own history of manipulation and schemes, making him question whether he was any better than Stefan. The emotional weight of the decision was crushing. Tony found himself thinking about all the women who had been hurt by DiMera men over the years, his own mother, Marlena during John's possession, Nicole, Somi, and countless others. He realized that he had the power to break this cycle of abuse, to prevent another innocent woman from becoming a victim of DiMera machinations. The breakthrough came when Tony intercepted a phone call between Stefan and his European contact. The conversation revealed that the plan was accelerating Stefan, intended to trigger Gabi's downfall within the next 48 hours. The embezzlement evidence would be discovered. The authorities would be contacted, and Gabi's life as she knew it would be over. Tony knew he was out of time. He spent the entire night gathering copies of every piece of evidence he had collected, organizing it into a comprehensive dossier that would expose Stefan's entire scheme. But he also knew that simply handing over the evidence wouldn't be enough. He needed to give Gabi the strength and resources to fight back. The confrontation came the next evening. Tony asked Gabi to meet him privately, away from Stefan's watchful eyes. In his study, surrounded by decades of DiMera family portraits, he laid out the entire truth. He watched as disbelief gave way to horror, then anger, and finally a determination that reminded him why Gabi had survived every previous challenge in her life. "Why?" Gabi asked, her voice barely a whisper. "Why are you telling me this?" Tony looked at her, seeing not just another potential victim, but a woman who had fought against every odd to create a better life for herself and her daughter. "Because someone needs to break the cycle," he said simply. "Because you deserve better than to be someone else's puppet." The evidence was overwhelming, and Gabi knew that she had the power to expose Stefan and protect herself. But Tony's revelation came with an unexpected twist. He also provided her with evidence of Stefan's legitimate business dealings that, while not illegal, would be embarrassing enough to ruin his reputation in Salem's business community. "You have a choice," Tony explained. "You can expose everything publicly, destroy him completely, and face the media circus that will follow. Or you can use this information to negotiate your freedom quietly, disappear from his life, and start fresh somewhere safe." Gabi's decision surprised even Tony. Instead of choosing revenge or escape, she decided to confront Stefan directly, using the evidence not as a weapon, but as a mirror, forcing him to see what he had become. The confrontation between Gabi and Stefan was explosive, but it also became a moment of reckoning that changed both of them. Stefan's reaction revealed the depth of his psychological issues, years of family trauma, abandonment, and the pressure of living up to the DiMera legacy had twisted his understanding of love into something possessive and destructive. Faced with the reality of his actions, he broke down completely, realizing that he had become the very monster he had once feared. The resolution came not through revenge or destruction, but through Gabi's incredible strength and compassion. She used Tony's evidence to ensure her own safety and legal protection, but she also insisted that Stefan get the psychological help he desperately needed. Rather than destroying him, she chose to save him from himself. Tony's role in the resolution earned him something he had never expected: Gabi's forgiveness and respect. She recognized that his decision to help her had required tremendous courage and moral growth. For the first time in decades, Tony felt like he had used his intelligence and resources to actually protect someone rather than manipulate them. The aftermath brought unexpected healing to the entire DiMera family. Stefan's treatment helped him confront not just his recent actions, but the generational trauma that had shaped the family's destructive patterns. Tony found himself becoming a force for positive change within the family, using his influence to support rather than control. Most importantly, Gabi emerged from the experience stronger and more independent than ever. She realized that true love couldn't exist alongside control and manipulation, and she began building relationships based on mutual respect and trust. Her daughter Ariana, though young, sensed the positive change in her mother and began to see her as an even stronger role model. The story of Tony's choice to help Gabi became a turning point for the entire DiMera legacy. It proved that even families marked by generations of betrayal and manipulation could change, that individuals could choose to break destructive cycles and create something better for the next generation. In the end, Tony's decision to double-cross his own nephew saved not just Gabi's life, but the souls of everyone involved. It showed that redemption is possible, that people can change, and that sometimes the greatest act of love is having the courage to tell the truth, even when it's painful. What did you think of this incredible transformation? Did Tony make the right choice? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I love hearing your theories and reactions. Don't forget to smash that like button if this story gave you all the feels. Share it with your Days of Our Lives family. And hit subscribe to Trillionaire in Love, because we've got so many more amazing spoilers and storylines coming your way. Remember, in Salem, the truth always finds a way to surface, and love always finds a way to heal. Until next time, keep believing in the power of redemption.